Gonzo the clown. It was my son's 5th birthday and my wife, and I knew it was an important day. Next year our little Jimmy would be starting school. So this was sort of an end of an era, you can say. However, after some debating, my wife and I decided on a clown for the entertainment. I was against the idea at first, but my wife kept trying to convince me it would be a good idea. I know as a little kid clowns scared me. As a father, I knew what I had to do in order to make my little boy the happiest. And if that meant getting a clown for his birthday, I would do that. The day had finally come, and our little Jimmy was so happy. All his friends showed up. The kids were playing in the backyard and stuffing their faces with cake and snacks. All of them playing with no care in the world. My wife and I were in the house waiting for the clown to show up. He was already 30 minutes late. But again, you can't expect a clown to be on time. Then we see a van pull up to the front of the house. On the side of the van it read Gonzo the clown. I will be honest, it gave me a creepy feeling. He got out and was walking up to our front door. He rang the bell and we opened the door. And to tell you, the look on my face says it all. I had a feeling this was a mistake on our part. Just the way he looked at me, I knew this was not going to end up good. He was dressed in the typical classic clown with white makeup and the big old puffy shoes, and not to forget the red nose and wig. My wife asked if she could bring him anything to drink. He was like no, that he was fine. Gonzo was sitting in our living room for about 15 minutes smoking a cigarette and tapping his shoe on the floor. He seemed nervous. I asked him, "Is this your first time performing?" He chuckled and without looking at me said, "Always." I did not understand what he meant by that. He finished his cigarette and put on a happy clown grin and grabbed his bag, stood up and gave me a tap on the shoulder and said, "Get ready for a show." Gonzo made his way out to the backyard and all the kids were cheering. He sat down in front of the kids and started performing. He was juggling and told jokes. He even had a water gun spraying the kids with water. Did some other classic clown stuff as well. I have to admit, was I wrong for judging him? He was actually very entertaining. The kids were having a great time, and now Gonzo yelled out, "It's time for the big finale." He pulled out 3 boxes, all different colors. They looked like birthday presents. He looked at our son Jimmy and was like, "Pick one." My wife snapped a picture of him while he had the present. Gonzo said, "Oh boy, you picked a good one." He said it in a cartoony voice. I swore I could hear some sadness in his tone. Gonzo opened one of the other boxes and there was a knife in it. My wife and I were in complete shock. Before we could do anything, Gonzo started cutting his own face. All the kids were screaming, and our little Jimmy was covered in Gonzo's blood. Jimmy was crying. I ran to try and stop Gonzo, but it was too late. He collapsed to the ground. My wife had already called 911. Before we knew it, the police and the paramedics were there. The police made sure all the kids were safe and the paramedics were working on Gonzo. He ended up not making it. I took a look in the other boxes he had. In one of them was a small handgun and the other was a can of lighter fluid with a box of matches. After it was all over, all the kids, including Jimmy, had to go to therapy. Imagine being so young and seeing that. After all of it, we were trying to find out more information, but the police seemed like they did not care. I decided that I could not let this blow over. I was able to track down the company that sent Gonzo. It was in a small single-story building. I expected a rundown, scary place, but it was neat and modern. I walked into the manager's office. I looked around in his office and there were pictures of clowns with their faces cut and bullets in their heads. The sights were disgusting, and in every picture was a little kid crying. The manager was an older guy. He had to have been in his late 50s. He asked me, "How did you get in here?" I asked him, "Why do you have these pictures and why are you doing this to little kids?" He just laughed in my face. Next thing, 2 guys come from the back office and drag me outside. I yelled at them that I will make you pay. One of the guys smiled at me and said, "We do know where you live, and it would be a shame if anything happened to you or your family."